evening. But tomorrow night, forecasting lows right around 30 degrees. But where's all the rain at? Well, I'll tell you where the rain's at right now. The Pacific Northwest, they're bracing for heavy flooding later on tonight. As you know, we call it the atmospheric river, but the jet stream, that's typically where we see that northern branch of the jet making its way into the United States. But later tonight and into tomorrow, as this prepares to enter the region, local officials are urging communities to prepare. Fox Weather's Max Gordon has more.
A powerful storm known as an atmospheric river moving through the Pacific Northwest, putting millions of Americans under flood watches.
The community is used to this.
Heavy rain combined with warm temperatures is melting mountain snow and sending that water into low-lying areas. It's threatening to flood communities along major rivers, including here in Incarnation, Washington. The Snoqualmie River expected to crest late Tuesday or early Wednesday at major flood stage.
When it floods out here, it's pretty serious and can mean a lot of damage for a lot of people who have property.
The system also dumping heavy snow on parts of Utah and Colorado.
This is pretty bad.
The National Weather Service says Washington's Olympic Mountains could see up to 10 inches of rain, while the Cascades could see between 5 and 9 inches. Local officials say the short recovery time between storms will increase the risk for flooding. They're urging people to gather important documents and personal belongings in case they need to evacuate.
Passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates, all of those things that are really difficult to replace, insurance documents. Gather those all together along with food and clothing that you might need to take with you in a hurry.
Folks here will get a break from the rain on Thursday, but forecasters say another atmospheric river could hit western Washington by the weekend. Incarnation, Washington, Max Gordon, Fox Weather.
And that's actually the next system that's going to be making its way across the country and bringing us rain impacts and the possibility of storms for this weekend. And wildfires are continuing across the country as the Black Bear Fire in North Carolina continues to blaze. Even though the fire is 90% contained, it's still not completely out. Over the weekend, the fire grew by over 120 acres, and that was with rain over the weekend on top of that. This is because heat, of course, it can still with downed trees and a lot of tinder, you can still have that insulation that can keep some of those fires going. Firefighters are now focusing on cold trailing, which means they will extinguish burning materials around the fire so that it doesn't cross where the fire is already contained. The fire has burned over 2,000 acres already. Of course, fire breaks and all they can do there, Tania, to help control that. Certainly fire and wildfires have been a big story here lately.
Yeah, Wes. Well, let's take it around the world. Britain's polar research ship crosses paths with one of the world's largest icebergs. Take a look at this. This footage is called, or showing the iceberg. The iceberg is actually called A23A, and it's about 3 times the size of New York. Scientists were able to collect seawater samples from this mega iceberg to determine what life could form around it and how it can impact carbon in the ocean. They also say it is likely to be swept into Iceberg Alley, which is the common place for icebergs to float. And communities in the southern Philippines are cleaning up after a powerful earthquake over the weekend. The 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck the southern Philippines Saturday night, leaving 1 person dead and injuring several others. After the quake, reports showed that there wasn't any major damage besides 2 damaged bridges and power outages. A tsunami warning was also put into place in the aftermath, but was soon dropped. And in 30 seconds, we travel back to Vermont for this week's installment of Mets Around the World. Well, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Tania Michelle. If you ask any meteorologist, they'll be able to tell you what their favorite type of weather to forecast is. And in this week's Mets Around the World, we travel back to Vermont, where Jess Langlois tells us all about hers.
I definitely was more interested in the severe weather side of things growing up. which isn't always the case, especially in New England where you get the big snowstorms. So a little bit atypical for this part of the country where you don't get as much severe weather, but I think there's something about the thunderstorms in the summer where the atmosphere is quite literally electric. That's just I think that's always grabbed my attention the most. I really like the variety though, so I like having all the seasons too. But yeah, I'd say the storms.
Jess Langlois loves it when the atmosphere is electric. I love that. Vermont's next chance for rain comes this weekend. But one place out west is seeing a shower of butterflies. Oh my gosh, I love butterflies. Check out this incredible video of thousands of monarch butterflies in Southern California during their annual migration to Pismo State Park. They take refuge in eucalyptus trees located on the coast along Highway 1. There are just over 16,000 butterflies currently on site, but that's down 8,000 from last year when the count reached 24,000. Oh, I'm headed to California. See you, Wes. When we return, we talk about just how chilly it'll get this week, and I take you beyond the 7 days. So stay tuned for more First Alert Weather Extra.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Wes White. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. As we prepare for another chilly night, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an explanation on wind chill and why it's a key part of cold weather.
Well, it was a pretty chilly start to the morning, and of course we got to look at your weather watchers. They reported their lows earlier this morning. We had a lot of spots at or below freezing. In fact, in Lamar County, 29. Tony McDonald sending that in. Sarah Porter saying it's 29. 30 degrees in Oxford and 30 in Trussville, and Coker 32, and Alabaster reporting a low of 34 degrees. So it's going to be pretty chilly for the next couple of days. We got a cold front that's been moving through, and there could be some wind involved tomorrow morning. So let's talk about wind chill and what it is. Well, when you have a calm wind in place and you're well insulated, you got your hat, your scarf, your jacket, your normal body heat is going to keep you warm when the wind is calm. So that layer of heat is generated by our bodies, but when you have the wind, that body heat that's being trapped by your clothes, it kind of escapes with that wind, and it makes it feel even colder. So that's why we always mention the wind chill factor when there's winds, and there's a huge formula and equation, all that kind of stuff. We won't get into the science, but you can sort of pair up winds and temperatures and get an idea what it feels like. For instance, if tomorrow morning it's 37 degrees and we have winds at 15 miles per hour, it's going to make it feel like it's 28 degrees. So just want to give you that first alert overnight tonight. We're looking at those winds picking up a little bit because of that cold front moving on through. So we're looking at northwest winds at 10, maybe 15 miles per hour around midnight with gusts up to 20 to 25. Those winds should start to decrease a bit by tomorrow morning, but that wind chill factor could feel like it's in the upper 20s and lower 30s Wednesday morning. So just want to give you that first alert. Bundle up. It's going to be pretty chilly going into Wednesday morning. And of course, I'll be here on Good Day, Alabama, showing you those temperatures and showing you how it's going to feel like when that wind blows around the area.
Thanks a lot, Matt. And we keep seeing these surges of cold air moving in from the north. It's going to keep us very dry at least through Friday. Right now, temperatures are at 54 at Fayette, 45 at Pell City, 47 at Anniston. You can see back into Mississippi here how those arrows are starting to turn more northwest. That's that next surge of cold air, as Matt was talking about, will be settling in here for the overnight. Here's a look at the forecast. You can see the wind speeds there northwest at 5 to 10. That breeze is going to stick around tonight, and temperatures by 11 o'clock will be in the low 40s. So you factor the wind in, and the wind chill will be a factor into early tomorrow morning. There's a look at 6 a.m. and out the door. Although we're above freezing, it's going to feel like upper 20s in some spots. But we could see temperatures to the east and north close to freezing early in the day. Certainly a cold start there, and then the rest of the day with that north wind, it's like the AC's on all day long. It just won't let up. We'll see that breeze keeping those temperatures down as well, even with some sunshine. High tomorrow, how about 51? That's it for an afternoon high in the warmest locations. Most areas will stay in the 40s, it looks like. And then tomorrow night, as temperatures tumble into the upper 20s, low 30s, a first alert for frost and freezing temperatures. It's going to be much calmer there early on Thursday, so we'll see our coldest morning of the week. All right, let's talk about the weekend. And we gave you the first alert yesterday for the possibility of some strong to severe storms this weekend, the next system that could bring some rain. Now, first off, this system is not going to be one that's going to be around for 3 or 4 days. It's going to be in and out of here. We're looking at another cold front. One of those setups is likely going to be a line of rain and storms that moves west to east across the state. What you're looking at is one of the long-range severe weather threat outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center, and they're already highlighting a 15% hatched area here back into parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, back into parts of Mississippi for Saturday for the risk of strong to severe storms. I think what's going to happen for us, and this is a classic setup where we see an environment where we have a lot of wind energy, not a lot of instability. The atmosphere is going to try to get primed in quickly after all the cold air. What happens Friday and Saturday, south winds start to really ramp up here. Notice those arrows showing that moist flow out of the south, so temperatures will rebound into the mid to upper 60s. Wind gusts over 20 miles per hour as this front approaches. But the timing, and this is the global data, once we get the high resolution model guidance, we'll have a much better handle on the timing, and we can really get into specifics. But this is showing mostly after 8 o'clock that primary risk as that line moves in for maybe a strong to severe storm. I would think the greatest risk would be over West Alabama. Timing, of course, has a lot to do with that, but as this moves on through, we're probably looking at more of a marginal to slight risk perhaps that would set up up in areas back to the west, but you can see this shows Sunday morning. It's out of here. I know we have Christmas parades happening, including the Christmas parade there at Gadsden, and it looks as though as we get into Saturday night and into Sunday, hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of this come in later at night after the parades. But do check in for updates. Again, you can see that storm energy there. So the risk is there for some rumbles and the possibility of a strong to severe storm, especially west. And then we get into Sunday, we'll see the rain moving out. And it looks like as we go into next week, some colder weather will be settling in. But now it's time to go beyond the 7-day forecast. Meteorologist Michelle Tania, of course, all eyes on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that we get more rain. All these systems keep rolling in here, but it seems like rain goes north, it goes south. We just need a good soaking in all areas.
Absolutely. I can 100% agree with you, Wes. Still dealing with drought conditions across the state. So let's figure out what's happening beyond the 7-day. I love this picture here, beyond the 7-day. Okay, let's get into the details. I first want to take a look at our first alert weather calendar. So notice that the rest of this work week, we're going to stay nice and dry, but we have that system bring us a chance for some showers and storms Saturday and early Sunday morning. And now as we continue here, there are some other days that we can see some rain chances, like on Thursday and Friday, December the 14th, December the 15th, and then again, December the 18th and December the 19th. So some more rain chances by this time next week, or really about Thursday, Friday, and then early the following week after that. So approaching Christmas, not quite at it, but definitely right before it, we can see some more wet weather in the forecast. Could it be snow? Probably not at this period. We're still seeing temperatures above average, if not maybe below average a few degrees, but I do want to show you this temperature outlook. So apparently in the next 6 to 10 days, we could see below average temperatures across the southeast. As far as Birmingham goes, not a whole major impact across the area. And look at those potential highs 6 to 10 days out. Our average is around 59 degrees, and it looks like we'll stay pretty consistent as we enter days between December the 11th to December the 15th. And a look at those lows over the next 6 to 15 days out from December the 11th to December the 15th. Notice our average low is around 39 degrees. We'll see temperatures trickling right below it by around December the 14th and into or around December the 12th, around December the 12th through the 15th. So we'll continue to pay attention to those lows over the next several days. But looking beyond the 7-day, like Wes says, we're still looking forward to more rain and rain chances in our forecast to eliminate those drought conditions. So keep checking in for more updates on what to expect beyond the 7-day. But let's talk about somewhere else, okay? In South Africa, matter of fact, they're called urban surfers as they travel through communities surfing for ways to gather household waste for recyclable materials. But when they do this, their work has an important environmental impact. David McKenzie reports.
Tlamoke Mokoka and his cart are on the move. His job goes by many names here: reclaimer, hustler, even urban surfer. It's dangerous work in a dangerous city. There are thousands like Mokoka fanning out well before dawn. After an hour on the road, he's in a neighborhood south of the city.
I'm looking for the plastics.
I'm looking for plastics, cardboard boxes, metals and cans, he says.
Metals.
And it's a dirty job, do you mind?
I don't mind.
What they discard, he recycles, earning about $150 a month. It's steadier than his old construction job, and Mokoka likes being his own boss. There aren't any jobs here, he says, so we've made our own work. Making their own work with the scale and impact that's hard to overstate. Just look at the sorting zone near Joburg, where thousands live. It's informal, but hardly simple. Everything is carefully separated. Everything has value.
Towards the top of the pecking order are cans. Now, a bag of these will get reclaimers almost $40 US. As they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
I'm always surprised how rich people throw away so much rubbish, says Rakat Lakhang, but I'm happy they do. This collection took them weeks. I don't know much about climate change, he says. Of course, I'm glad we can help, but what matters is to survive. Today is payday, and every bag is carefully weighed.
70.
There's always trust amongst us, says middleman Motsama, though he seems a little skeptical. I had to double check they didn't put any water in the bottles to make them heavier, he says. It must just be the plastic bottles. What reclaimers don't find end up in a nearby landfill. Even here, the desperate salvage what they can. Back in the neighborhoods, Mokoka's in a race against the dump trucks.
Done, we have done.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Just in time.
Oh.
Today they arrived a bit late.
I have more stuff today, man.
More stuff?
More stuff than other days. Okay.
Mokoka is proud of his work, proud of his effort.
Yeah, I feel so happy.
I feel so happy, he says, because I'm going to put bread on the table.
Stay with us. We'll be back with more First Alert Weather Extra.
Well, Tania, I love our sky vision cameras that we have all across the state. And one of the views today, I've got to show you this. This is from Tuscaloosa and at sunset. Check it out.
Ah, I love it. It's so peaceful.
Yeah, and it almost looks kind of like a comet. You see the way the
it.
cloud patterns.
Yeah.
Cirrus there off to the south. But
I love it.